Hey guys, Constance here at A Good Life Farm. So today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm doing a little cooking demonstration for you on a very simple recipe, and that is how to prepare a whole chicken in your Instant Pot. Later today I'm going to be making chicken salad for supper, and to make that I need cooked chicken. And so instead of picking up a rotisserie chicken or something like that at the grocery store, I am simply going to make a whole chicken in the Instant Pot. I have a few things I need to do today. I'm going to be a little bit busy, and so this way I can get it started and just leave it, and it can cook and do its thing while I can take care of the other things that I need to do. Now, before I get started cooking the chicken here, I want to give you a little bit of a tip. If you happen to have an Aldi's in your area, we don't have one right here in our town. However, there are Aldi's around here, and it is totally worth it to make a trip over there periodically and check out their meat department, because you can get a whole chicken, a whole organic chicken, for the same price of a regular chicken you would get at a traditional grocery store. And so check out Aldi's if you like to get organic meats and want to save a little bit of money. That is one of the things that I do. I will make an occasional trip to Aldi's, and I will basically buy every whole chicken that they have there. I did that again just last week. So the first thing I'm going to do with the Instant Pot is I'm going to take the lid off. I'm going to take out the rack. I just store this in my Instant Pot so I don't have to go looking for it. This is the little rack that comes with it, and we're going to be using this, so we're not going to move it too far away. I'm just going to set it over here on the side for the moment. Alright, so I'm going to press the saute button and let that start getting heated up. And I'm going to add in about 2 tablespoons or so of coconut oil. You can use whichever oil you prefer to use. I'm very fond of coconut oil. If you want the benefits of coconut oil but don't like the taste of coconut oil, you can get refined coconut oil that has that flavor and aroma removed. Mr. Smith is very finicky and does not like coconut oil. He swears he can taste it in everything. So if I'm making something that the oil is predominant in, like say it's something that has been simply sauteed or something like that, I will use the refined coconut oil for him. With something like this, where the food is just being browned in it, I'll just use regular coconut oil, or you could use avocado oil, or again, whatever your favorite oil is for using. So I'm going to put this into the Instant Pot and let it get nice and hot as well. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to sear the outside of the chicken, and we're really only going to do the top. I'm not going to worry about doing both sides, because the bottom of the chicken is going to be exposed to a lot more moisture, even though we're cooking it on the rack. Usually when you're cooking a whole chicken, you're not going to season the whole bottom anyways. You generally just do the top, and so that's what we're going to do. Now, before you put your chicken in the Instant Pot, you want to make sure that it is nice and dry. So you can let it sit out for a few minutes to air dry, or you can blot it with some paper towels or a tea towel, or whatever you choose to use. And we're going to let this oil get nice and hot. You don't want it smoking hot, but you do want to see where the oil is kind of shimmering in there. And I'm going to just kind of very quickly swirl the oil around, make sure the whole bottom of the Instant Pot is coated. And then we're just going to set this in there, breast side down. And now we're just going to wait. Just let it sit there. So one of the things about cooking meats in stainless steel or in cast iron that people will complain about is that they have issues with it sticking. And I think the #1 reason people have issues with the food sticking is that they're not patient. As long as your cooking surface is nice and hot, and as long as you have enough oil in there, that food is not going to stick for long. Now, as food sears, as it gets that nice crust on there, it actually shrinks and draws away. And so if you try to pull the meat, the chicken, off too soon, it's going to stick. But if you start to lift it up and you feel it sticking, just wait. Let it sit for a couple more minutes. Give it time to do that shrinking, that drawing down, and then give it a try and see if you can't get it to move. So while this is searing, I'm going to grab my seasonings and I'm going to wash up that pan because I'm going to use it again for just a moment. Alright, so the chicken has been cooking for about 5 minutes on the saute option, kind of searing the breast side of that to get lots of flavor in there. So now I'm going to hit cancel to turn off the searing, the heat. I'm going to take a pair of tongs. I'm going to very carefully lift the chicken out. So now you can see the lovely golden color that we have that's been developing there. That just kind of sears it in, gives it a little bit of flavor. So you especially want to do this if you are cooking this chicken as your entree, as your main dish to eat as a simply whole cooked chicken. Now we are going to add some seasoning, and this is where you can kind of play around a little bit with it. You could do a paprika chicken. I have a recipe for paprika chicken on my blog. It is done as a traditional baked chicken, but you could very easily do that in the Instant Pot as well. And since I'm going to be using this in a chicken salad recipe, I'm just going to season it with some basic seasonings. I have some onion powder. I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of that. A little garlic powder. A little bit of Italian seasoning. And a little bit of salt and pepper. So next, we're going to take that rack that we had set aside and we're going to place that down in the bottom of our Instant Pot. And we're going to take our chicken, and this time we're going to put it in there breast side up on top of the rack. Now you could also season it after you've put it back in the pot. It really doesn't matter either way, just whichever you prefer to do. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to pour in some liquid to put down in the bottom of the Instant Pot, and that's going to keep your chicken nice and moist while it is cooking. Now we don't want to pour it over the top of the chicken because we don't want to wash off all of the seasoning, so we're just going to pour it right down along the side. If you were cooking this chicken again as the basic entree, you could use some white wine instead of water, whatever you prefer. I've done that before. Alright, so now we're going to take the lid and we're going to put it in place. Lock it. Make sure the valve is where it's supposed to be. You don't want it to be on the venting position, otherwise you're not going to get any pressure built up. This chicken that I'm doing here is about a 5-pound chicken, so I'm going to put it on 40 minutes. I'm going to click poultry, and we're going to move this down to 40 minutes and just let that go. If you were doing a little bit of a smaller chicken, you could probably drop that down to 30 or 35 minutes. I tend to err on the side of caution and add a little bit more time when it comes to poultry. So now the pressure is going to start building. Once it gets up to pressure, that's when that time will start counting down. And after this finishes the pressure cooking cycle, it'll actually just click to warm and essentially become like a slow cooker. So you could do something like this. You could start it in the morning and then you could just go about your day and doing whatever it is that you need to do. And the chicken's going to be fine in here. You don't have to worry about coming back in 45 minutes or so to get the chicken out right away. You don't have to do that. And different than a typical slow cooker, when this drops down to the warm function after doing its pressure cycle, it doesn't overly cook the chicken. I've noticed that if you leave chicken in a slow cooker for a long period of time, that chicken can get very overcooked and actually become extremely mushy. The Instant Pot tends to allow the meat to keep more of its structure so it doesn't get quite as soft, so you don't have to worry too much about overcooking it. And so that is it for the time being, and I'm going to put the rest of these things away and we'll come back when it's finished. Alright, so we are back and the chicken has been cooking in the Instant Pot. And as you can see down here on the timer, it's actually been finished with the pressure cook for about 2 hours now. Once the pressure cycle finishes, it begins counting up, and that's simply how long it's been on the heat setting, just the keeping warm setting. And so it is finished, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this out because, as I said earlier, I'm making chicken salad out of this, and so I don't want to serve the chicken hot. I want it to start cooling down so that I can make the dish out of it that I'm planning. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I'm going to lift this up, see if I can handle that, not too hot. Now, even though we only put a little bit of liquid down in, there's a lot of juice that comes from the chicken. And so you want to give this a second to drip. So now we have a perfectly cooked, super tender, whole chicken, and it isn't beautiful. It's not going to have that crusty finish like you would in an oven, and that's okay. We're just going for flavor. You know, if you're hungry, you need to feed the family. They're not going to care too much about perfect presentation. This chicken is full of flavor, it is delicious, and as you can see, there wasn't a whole lot of effort that went into making this. So whether you are serving this chicken as the entree or if it's going to be the ingredient in another dish like it is in this case, this is a perfect way to cook it. So thanks for joining me here in the kitchen at A Good Life Farm. I have hundreds of recipes on my blog, cosmopolitancornbread.com. You can find that link down below. Feel free to check out those recipes. If you like this video, I do 3 new videos every week on homesteading, home cooking, and back to basics. And if you're not already subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications if you wish. Additionally, I have a newsletter that I send out that you can sign up for that will keep you updated not only on new videos here on the YouTube channel, but new content, new recipes on the blog as well. So thanks for watching, you guys, and now I'll talk to you all next time.